There was one particular avrich, yeshiva younger man, who was very, very bad situation. He had a lot of kids to feed. He wasn't able to make ends meet. His wife wasn't working. He wasn't working. It was a very difficult situation. And even the yeshiva guys, who were themselves not wealthy, recognized that this person needed help. So they did what they could. Every single month, there was a gabbai. He would go around to the different people in the yeshiva, and he would collect whatever they had, raise the money, and in a secretive type of fashion, he knew, but in a nice way, he gave the money to the avrech so that he could survive. Sure enough, this avrech had few children, and his children were growing up. First child already had the shidduch and marriageable of age. Baruch Hashem, there's a wedding. The avrech is excited, obviously. His friends are all excited for him. Oh, his son is finally getting married. His first son is getting married. And he gives them all out invitations. They open up the invitation, and what do they see? The wedding hall will take place in Uramot Vagshel. Vakshal, I think that's what it's called, which is considered a very, very high-end wedding hall. And they're looking at this and they're saying to themselves, here's a guy, we're giving him money, and his wedding hall is the most famous wedding hall. Well, there's not enough wedding halls in Bnei Brak that you can go ahead and make a very, respectable but not expensive wedding. He's going to the most expensive place. They don't know what to say, but they say, no, there must be a reason. Beseder. Arrive at the wedding, and they're wishing Mazal Tov, and they see the wedding. The hall is not just one hall. He took out 2 halls for the men's section, 1 hall for the women's section. The whole place was rented out. And they're saying to themselves, why? We've been giving him money. He should probably be giving us money with the type of wedding. And the wedding was tip-top, best wedding you could possibly have. All the delicious food. This was not gefilte fish and Lakshin Kugel. This was the real deal. Okay? So they see that he went all out. And they're saying to themselves, we just don't understand. They're dancing and they don't know what they're doing over there. What kind of a wedding is this man doing? I thought he was a poor man, and all of a sudden he's Rothschild over here. The wedding was over. Now you can imagine, they've been collecting every single month up until that point. How difficult it was. They're going around, and the gabbai is going around to people, and they don't know why they're even giving the money. They're saying to themselves, he should really be giving us money. Why are we giving him money? We don't get it. The first month, they were able to scrap it together, and they gave him the sum. The second month, it was already becoming difficult, and he sensed. The yeshiva guy sensed it. He realized. He goes over to the gabbai, and he says, I get the idea that everybody's upset at me. Let me tell you this story. I was looking at all the wedding halls in Bnei Brak, like any avrech would do, looking for really the cheapest one, essentially, and they were all booked. I went to this ulam, to this wedding hall. I sat down and I asked him, you have the big wedding halls and the fancy ones. I don't want those. I just want the one on the bottom in the basement, the small one. Can I rent that out from you? The person saw me. He saw me, how I'm dressed, how I look. He realized that I probably don't have the means to pay for it. He says, fine, no problem. Give me a down payment. I want a down payment. So I wrote him a check. I signed the check, down payment, and I gave it to him. He looks at the check and he sees Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Tompedorski, just making up a name. He says, this is you, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, that's you, Tompedorski? He says, yeah, that's me. He says, you ever heard of, are you from the city of Lutz? You ever heard of the Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Tompedorski from the city of Lutz? He says, yeah, that's my grandfather. That's your grandfather? Takes the check, he rips it up. He says, your grandfather saved my life during the war. And I was looking for a way to pay him back. Never found the man. Never knew who he was. Now I have the opportunity. His grandson is standing before me. You're not paying for a penny for this wedding. I'm doing this wedding for you. And you don't have to worry about a thing. The whole thing is going to be taken care of. I will already arrange a wedding that will be okay. And he ripped up the check. And that was the story. The whole wedding was paid for by the person that owned the wedding halls. And in the meantime, these people, they realized the true story. How bad did they feel? How bad did they feel? They finally realized that this whole time, it was not him. He didn't put a penny into this wedding. And they were just thinking, this person is lying to us. This person is being dishonest. That's the idea. Always having to judge your friend